Hi, Teri here from Stamping Magic. Welcome back to my channel. Today's project is another gift bag, and this is a very large one. It measures 12 inches wide by 12 inches tall and is 3 inches deep. I've used the Itty Bitty Christmas stamp set for the sentiment. The dies I've used are from the Celebration Labels set. And this beautiful paper is from the Poinsettia Place Designer Series paper pack. And this bag folds flat, so it's really easy to store. You can make several in advance and then just pull them out when you need them. So let's get started. These are all the measurements you need for all the elements required to create this project. So if you're interested in reproducing it, take a screenshot so you can refer to it later. You need 2 pieces of 12 inch by 12 inch paper for this project. I'm using the Poinsettia Place. Now one of them doesn't need touching, the other one will be your back section, and it just needs one score line. Now this score line needs to go towards the bottom of your 12 by 12 piece. So if you've got a one-way design, make sure the bottom is pointing towards the left hand side of your scoreboard. Then score down at 1.5 inches. I have 3 pieces of soft suede cardstock here, and they all measure 12 inches by 4 inches. Now 2 pieces are for the sides and 1 piece is for the base. I'm placing these into my Simply scoreboard with the short side across the top, and I'm scoring down at 1/2 inch and 3.5 inches. I shall now put one of these aside to be used for the base. The side pieces need some extra scoring. Now I'm going to place each of them into the Simply scoreboard with the long side across the top, and I'm going to score down at 1.5 inches. I'll turn my cardstock anti-clockwise so the short side is across the top, and I'm going to score down at 2 inches, but only to that 1.5 inch score line. And then I'll repeat this. So long side across the top, score at 1.5 inches, turn anti-clockwise, score at 2 inches, but only down as far as that score line. I have 2 more small pieces of soft suede cardstock. Now these need to be scored with the short side across the top at 1/2 inch, and these will be tabs that will go onto the bottom of the side sections. I'm now going back to the side sections, and on the bottom of them, where I've got that rectangle, I need to score a triangular shape, so going from the centre score line to the bottom edge on both right and left sides. So I'm just using my stylus and a metal ruler. I'll position my stylus at the centre and then score down to the bottom edge, right into the corner. And now I'm going to repeat it for the other section. So exactly the same. And there you can see the triangle. I'm now going to notch each corner on all 3 of the main pieces. Now I'm just doing the top edge here. I don't know why I didn't do the bottom edge at the same time, but I do go back to it later. This is the base, so I'm just going to notch each corner, so that's a small slanted cut on each corner within the 1/2 inch side tabs. Now these little pieces, I'm just going to notch 2 of the corners. You can do all 4, it doesn't really matter. And here is where I'm doing the base of each side section, so it's just a small slanted cut within that 1/2 inch tab. I can now fold on all the score lines and burnish them with my bone folder. So I've done the tabs, and this is now the base. There's only 2 scores here. Then I've got the side tabs on the side section, and then we come to the middle score lines. Now I've got the triangle piece at the top of the screen, and I'm just creasing that middle score line. I'm now going to burnish it right down to the point of the triangle. Okay, now when you get there you stop. If you pull the triangle towards you and press it down, you still get that triangular shape and you can burnish it. And that's the side section complete. So I'll now repeat that for the other side section. So again, for that middle score line, you want to create a valley fold. So I'm bringing the 2 sides gently together, and then I'm going to burnish down to the top point of the triangle. I'll hold my bone folder there, then I'll bring the triangle in, press it flat, and burnish. I'm now going to add the little tab sections onto the bottom of each of the side sections. So I'm adding glue to 1/2 of the tab, and then I'm going to sit my side section on top of it. And of course you want to do this for both of the side sections. Once the glue is dry, make sure you reinforce the sides of that triangle where the tab overlaps with them. I can now add each of the side sections to my base, and I do this just by adding glue to the other side of the tab and placing my base section on top of it. I'm now going to mark the position for my handles, so make sure you've got the top edge of your 12x12 sheets towards you when you do this. I'm making 2 pencil marks for each handle, and they'll be 1 inch apart. So the first mark will be 3.5 inches from the side edge, and then I'm going to go in a further inch, so 4.5 inches. And I'm doing the same for each side. And then I'll repeat that again for the other paper piece. Now my sides are joined to the base, I can add my front and back panels. Now I'm just going to add glue to the 1/2 inch tab and position the back panel first of all. Now this one has the score line running across it, so you want to make sure that the score line is closest to that tab. Okay, you want the bottom of your panel to be adhered to the base. And then I can go ahead and add my front panel. Now before you place it onto the glue, make sure you've got it the right way up, especially if you've got a pattern orientation. Now I just want to mention here before I go any further, my base is 3 inches deep. You can adjust this to however deep you want it. So for instance, if you wanted a 4-inch base, you just need to cut your pieces accordingly, so they will be 12 inches by 5 inches. When you come to score the horizontal score on the side sections, that will be half the depth, so that will be 2 inches instead of 1.5 inches. And then you'll score down the centre of the side pieces, which will be at 2.5 inches instead of 2 inches, to meet that horizontal score line. You will also need to change the measurement for scoring the back panel. So instead of 1.5 inches, that would be 2 inches as well. So you can adjust the depth to however you want it. To finish putting the bag together, it's just a case of applying glue along each of the 1/2 inch tabs and then placing the side edge of the front and back panel onto it. To get the bag to fold flat, you just want to stand it up, bring the front and back together, and then walk your fingers down. And when it reaches that horizontal score line on the back panel, it will naturally fold. And then I would burnish with a bone folder just slightly, just to make sure those creases are nice and sharp. I'm using more soft suede cardstock for the handles. Now these measure 12 inches by 1 inch, but you don't need to use 12 inches if you don't want to cut into another sheet of 12 by 12. Now you can use A4 length, which is almost 12 inches, or you could get away with 11 inches if your standard card is 8.5 by 11. I'm going to mark each end of these strips where I'm going to place the glue, and for mine I'm marking at 7/8 of an inch. Now if you're using A4, I would stick with 7/8 of an inch or 3/4 of an inch. If you're using 11 inches for your handle, I would just mark off at 1/2 an inch, and that will balance off against the shorter length. I can then add my glue just where I've marked off, and then position the handle. This first one's going on the front, between the 2 pencil marks you made earlier. Now you want to make sure that the pencil line on the back of the handle is just below the top edge of the bag. And then I'll do the same for the back handle. Give the glue a few seconds to dry before you position the other side. Add your glue and then you bend the handle backwards before twisting it round towards you and then positioning it. So again, add your glue and then you're bending the handle backwards and then twisting it round towards you before positioning it. I have 2 additional soft suede strips here. Again, these are 12 inches by 1 inch and they need to be 12 inches long this time. Now they're going to go as a decorative element at the top edge of the bag on the front and the back, but they can be optional, you don't have to have them. Instead of sticking the handles on the outside of the bag, you could have placed them on the inside, and that way you wouldn't need this decorative strip. So I'm just going to add glue and then position it at the top of the bag and repeat that for the other side. This is the Itty Bitty Christmas stamp set and I'm using the Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year sentiment. I'm going to stamp it using soft suede ink onto a piece of normal weight Whisper White card. This will be die cut using one of the Celebrations labels dies, the smallest one. I've already die cut a piece of the Poinsettia Place Designer Series paper using one size up, and then using one size up again I've created a soft suede mat. I've gone ahead and punched out some gold foil and some bumblebee cardstock using the sprig punch. Now if you haven't got this punch but you have got the Celebration labels, there are some little frond dies that you could use instead. This is what the sprig punch looks like, and I also need 2 punch outs from Garden Green cardstock. If you're going to write on the back of your tag, I suggest that you die cut another Whisper White mat using the same Celebration label that you used to die cut the Poinsettia Place Designer Series paper. and then add this to the back of your tag, and it's all ready for you to write your message. Next, I'm going to punch a hole at the top of my tag using the smallest hole punch on my crocodile. I'll tie the tag to my bag using some of our polka dot tulle ribbon. Now I've folded it in half and I'm threading the loop through. Then I'm going to open up the loop and thread the ends through before very carefully, because it's not a very slippy ribbon, pulling it tight. Then all I have to do is tie it onto the handle on the front of my bag. As a final finishing touch, I'm going to add a couple of our in colour enamel dots to the top and the bottom of the tag, and I'm using the bumblebee ones. These will match the designer series paper. And that's it, my bag's now complete. A really good size for those larger gifts. I have made one extra one, and for this one I used some of our retired paper. This is from the All My Love designer series paper pack. It's exactly the same. The sentiment I used came from the Borders Abound stamp set, which is a current set. So you can make lots of these, stack them in a pile together, and then just pull them out when needed. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Bye for now.